Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th episode in my playthrough of Pokémon Trinity, a fan game developed by me, Updog734. So to start this episode, I want to do a little recap of some things I did off screen. So I did a little bit of training, just got Murkrow to 17, Beldum to 18, and Diglett to 18. I did most of that training in the Stone Quarry. I had to level up Murkrow some in the Central Plains area, but I did not do anything in the next route. So everything was already done in places that you've seen already. So to just go through some of their updates, Murkrow has the same moves, no difference there. Beldum actually tried to learn Takedown on level 18, which is kind of funny because in the regular Pokemon games, that's the move he always has. I declined to learn it though. I think his move setup is pretty good right now. I don't think Takedown would help us at all. And then Diglett, I believe he has the same moves as when we last left off. So, we are heading out of the Stone Quarry. This man that was standing where I am now has moved, and we are able to go down into the next route, which is the remote grasslands. So we start kind of on this hilly area. There's nobody in this route that I particularly want to add to our team, but I'll definitely do some wild battles just so we can kind of showcase who's on this route. So we have a Baneri here. This route is definitely a little more lush and green than the Central Plains route. I kind of make the grass a little more yellow in that route, just because it would be a little bit drier in a plain system. So something to note about my style of creating games is I really don't like having the routes just named Route 1, Route 2, etc. I like to actually give them names because to me, in a real situation, when the routes are numbered, it feels as if you would have to progress the game that way. And I always wondered, well, what if somebody lived in a town that was like close to the Pokemon League or close to the last gym? You know, obviously they would struggle they would have to travel all the way to the first gym. Obviously, the game set you up pretty nice by making it a little bit linear. But in my game, I just thought instead of numbering them, just to give them real names so that the people would talk about them as we do in real life, like where different roads are and things like that. So most of them are named based on their location or kind of what the environment is like. So obviously this one, the remote grasslands, we're in kind of a tucked away little corner of Zarko that's pretty overgrown with grass and lushness. So that's just kind of why I decided to call it the remote grasslands. So this episode should be pretty exciting because we will get to Barnsly Town. That's the goal for this episode, and figure out what's going on at home with Mom and Dad. So we may get some more answers to why we were taken away and thrown in that jail cell. So here we find a memory chip in this box, item chest, and those will come later in future episodes. We'll get to kind of find out more about those. So here's a Rufflet. That's kind of a cool encounter on this route. But memory chips are an item that I created for this game. So a unique item not found in other games. I wanted to throw one in kind of well before you even know what they are, just to pique some interest, get some players to think, I wonder what that is. I really, really like Rufflet. If we didn't have Murkrow, I'd probably be trying to catch a Rufflet. And I believe at nighttime you can find Vullaby on this route instead. But I'll check out that memory chip real quick. Go the other way. Okay, so it's a small piece of electronic storage that a technology enthusiast may be interested in. And it has a little image there, almost like a floppy disk. So that will come later. I won't spoil the surprise now. This trainer tips talks about stab damage. Don't think there's anything up there, but I'll double check. Nope, okay. I'm battling some of these wilds too because I really want to get Murkrow to 18. I tried to do that off screen, but Murkrow was very, very hard to level up in the Stone Quarry. And then if I use the remote grasslands past level like 16, it was really hard as well because he was just getting barely any experience from the wilds there. But he's going to get much more in this route. I like Murkrow's setup right now. Wing Attack and Pursuit. I hope he gets a better Dark move soon, but Wing Attack is pretty strong for flying right now. So he gets to 18 here. Now we have everybody in our team on 18. Obviously, except for Sentret, who really isn't a team member much. So we'll switch it back to our original order. Beldum, Murkrow, Diglett. Look over here. I'm going to kind of follow the path here, just to kind of showcase what it would be like playing through the game. So this is a camper. Always found it interesting that campers are male trainers and picnickers are female trainers, but essentially they're like the male-female equivalent of each other. They're called something different. If you noticed before too, when we battled that older man up by the hilly area of this route, up by the stone quarry, his trainer class was called Old Chap. And I did that because originally they're called gentlemen in the Pokemon games, but gentleman in my game is kind of the term for rich boy. So there's they're kind of younger and kind of this like haughty type trainer. I call them gentlemen, and then the female counterpart to that is lady, and then again lady are like these rich younger women. So Old Chap, and I think I called basically the female equivalent to that Old Gal or something like that. So they're just a little bit of a name change. Beldum is struggling here, and I really... That's actually okay. If he dies, which he might here, that's alright, because we can focus on leveling up these other two for now. And I will throw a Diglett, obviously. He's going to have a better chance against this Pikachu. I guess we don't have much to go on him, but... And Diglett will probably get to 19. So I like this route a lot, actually. It's pretty short. I just like the aesthetic of it and how it looks. One that I was pretty proud of. I was pretty proud of the stone quarry, too. That was a big deal, making the maze like that. Now we will switch to Murkrow for sure. We'll have a type advantage, and Murkrow needs a little more experience now. Oh, here's a good example, just while I'm remembering it. So Bounsweet is obviously a Generation 7 Mon, and that's why he's not doing that movement animation. I think I mentioned that in the first or second episode, but just to call it out here so you can see it. I don't think it looks too bad. Obviously it would be better if they were moving, and if I get into sprite work more, maybe I can figure that out, but I don't really see that happening in the near future. Especially since it doesn't look too bad. Alright, that's it for this trainer. Camper Carl. Beldum is fainted. We don't have any revives, but I will... Let's use our last potion, actually. Give that to Murkrow for now. Although I would like to get Beldum some experience because he evolves at 20. We have this person tucked away here. He said, "Psst, hey kid, you looking to buy some Pokemon on the down low? You know what I mean. These are some rare Pokemon. Gotta fork over some serious cash if you want them. Interested?" So if you say yes, he'll tell you a list of 3 Pokemon that you can purchase from him. So it's just supposed to be kind of a funny, like he's like selling Pokemon on the black market or something. But these 3 Pokemon are most likely not going to be able to be found anywhere else. But just to show you, if you click Axew, he costs $5,000, so they are pretty expensive. So at this point in the game, we have $4,704. So you could potentially like save up and purchase one, but it would be pretty much all your money at this point. This guy here says, my Electabuzz here is my best buddy. I've had him since he was only a little Elekid. I've heard there's a super cool item that will let him evolve another time. Do you have it, an Electrizer? So we do not have one right now, but if you bring him one, he'll make it worth your while. So, obviously, something will happen there if you can find an Electrizer. So if we ever find one in our playthrough, we'll make sure we bring that to him. And obviously, there'll be a way for you to get another Electrizer to evolve Electabuzz. As I've mentioned multiple times, every Pokemon should be available to get, at least in some fashion. So that means the item that he gives you, you need for something else, for another evolution, I think. So there'll be a way to get 2 Electrizers to fulfill his quest there. I want to say we're like already halfway done with this route. It's pretty short. Pidgey keeps using Sand Attack, so we can't seem to land a hit now to finish him off. Let's try one more time here. Oh my gosh, we really have that lowered accuracy. He's just going to lower it more here. I think Pursuit has 100 accuracy normally, so it wouldn't give us any higher chance over Wing Attack. We may end up having to either switch or run. There we go, finally. Level 14 Wild Pidgey, so that's a pretty high level for these wilds. A friend of mine told me that he saw a male Nidoran on this route, but I can't find one anywhere. That is because male Nidoran can only be found at night on this route, and it's daytime right now. So in this item chest, we have 2 potions and a Paralyze Heal. I believe female Nidorans can be found during the day. This lady says, I like to cut down the grass to make sure it doesn't grow on top of the walking path. Sometimes I even cut it into fun shapes. Here's a little gift from a gardener like myself. So you get a Miracle Seed from her. If you have any grass types on your team at this point, that would be a nice held item for them. Nothing down here, just some more wild grass. Okay, we have a trainer here. Let me give Murkrow a potion first. Okay. So here's a Picnicker. I have so many Pokemon, look. I believe I gave her like a full team of 6. So she may be a little bit challenging. But we start here with a type advantage, so that's nice. After Sandshrew here, Murkrow should get to level 19. And then, depending on who she sends out next, we might switch. I'm not planning, Sandshrew just reminded me of this, I'm not planning on doing regional variants in this game, like Alolan forms or Galarian forms. I really don't like the idea of regional forms in different regions, if that makes sense. Like being able to find an Alolan form in Galar. I just think it doesn't really make any sense when you think about what the regional forms are. We will switch to Diglett here. Although I do like a lot of the regional forms, like Alolan, Sandshrew, and Sandslash are some of my favorite. With that Ice Steel typing, I think that's really cool. I just don't think it would make much sense to be able to find them in Zarko. Maybe I can see myself potentially doing like Zarko forms or Zarkonian forms of Pokemon. That would be pretty cool. And it shouldn't take too much effort. You would just kind of have to change how they look a little bit, colorations and a few features, and changing their typing and moveset is easy enough, as well as stats. So that could be something. I'm just thinking of that now. That might be kind of cool. And it wouldn't be like, I wanted to keep this game with no Fakemon, I just really wanted to make a game that had all the Pokemon in current existence. But if I get to the end of the game and think to do any more with it, I might add those regional variants. I guess it would be pretty cool, now that I'm thinking about it more, to start maybe with like a Zirconian Beldum. That would be kind of neat. Now I'm thinking about that. Now I'm thinking about what that might look like in typing. Like maybe he would stay Steel type and swap his Psychic with something else. I don't know. Can't really see me changing his Steel typing unless I've pretty drastically changed how he looked. Beyond just a few features and color difference. One more Pokemon. Bunnery. It's a local Pokemon here on this route. We are going to get Murkrow pretty close to level 20. Very close. Okay. We're able to beat her. We've got a Liberator standing here. Heading into Barnsly Town. Be careful, there are rumors of some terrible plans going on. Don't worry too much though. There's a squad of Liberators patrolling the town. We are committed to the safety of the people. So she doesn't recognize you, which kind of tips you off that she's a different set, from a different set of Liberators or a different squad than the ones that were there when you were taken. Which further kind of shows that the town is under pretty high scrutiny by them. I want to just kill one or two wilds here to get to that level 20 with Murkrow. There we go. Let's see how Diglett's doing. How close he is to level 20. He's about 3/4 of the way there. So we definitely will put him up here, but I'll head into Barnsley Town at this point. So again, the remote grasslands are a pretty short route. We'll save it here. And finally get to find out more about this storyline. So we have Barnsley Town, we have Liberators kind of everywhere. Let me know if you see any suspicious activity. Someone from Barnsley Town had secret plans to reinstate the Pokemon League. How could someone be so evil, taking peaceful times and trying to ruin them? So I really modeled Barnsley Town after like a pallet town or a very basic town, because obviously this is where you're from. There was a situation here a few days ago, but a team of Liberators handled it well. Now everyone is nice and safe. Our unit was sent here just to monitor things. So we have 3 houses. Obviously one will be ours. We have a Pokemon lab here. This person says, could Professor Cedar have anything to do with the rumors? I wouldn't trust him if I were you. So they're just very skeptical of everyone. I'm supposed to make sure nothing strange is going on with the Barnsley Bakery. This post sure does make me hungry. So we do have a little shop here, the Barnsley Bakery, where you can buy some things. Just some different treats like lava cookies, sweethearts. They do a bunch of different things. I'm noticing this now. I need to remove Moo Moo Milk from the list here because there's something later on in the game with Moo Moo Milk. I love buying sweet treats from the bakery. Pokemon love their treats too. So there's no Pokemon Center or Mart in this town, just like normal starting towns. So that's kind of just a little place where you can buy some things. Let's go down here first. Okay, so here we have Clara, one of the prisoners with you. Updog, I'm so glad you made it out of that prison okay. It's still so hard for me to talk about. You should really have a word with my dad. Okay, here's her dad, Calvin. I'm glad you made it home safe, Updog. My Clara told me all about the terrible conditions those Liberators kept you in. Listen carefully. I don't want to say this too loud. I can't imagine the punishment I'd receive if a Liberator heard me, but you deserve to know. After the Liberators marched away with Clara, Mike, and yourself, I saw your dad in a heated conversation with one of them. Then, all of a sudden, your dad reached out and socked the guy. I mean, he really hit him hard. The Liberator fell to the ground, and your dad went to jump on him, but one of those strange women with long hair grabbed your mother. She used her Pokemon to teleport away with her. The next thing we knew, all of the Liberators were teleporting away. I went over to help your dad up. Poor guy looked so defeated. I offered for him to stay with us for a while, but he wouldn't accept. He took out his Archeops and flew off, said he had to find you and your mother. We haven't seen him since. I would offer more help, but I'm terrified that those Liberators will come back and take my Clara away again. I hope that information helps in some way. If you need anything at all, just ask. But remember, keep your head down. So, Calvin here, if you talk to him again, actually, he's the one that'll heal your Pokemon, so he's kind of like the friendly neighbor character. Jenny is Claire's mom. I'm so glad Claire's home safe. I was worried sick. So we know now that our mom and dad are actually not even here. So the Liberators teleported away with Mom, and Dad flew off to find us both. Here is Mike, the other prisoner. Oh, hey, Updog. It's good to see you again. Glad this time we aren't in cells next to each other. Boy, wasn't that a crazy mix-up? Good thing it was all just a misunderstanding. So you ask Mike what he knows about your parents. Nope, haven't seen them in a while. Now, if you don't mind, I have to get back to something important. And if you talk to him again, sorry, can't chat right now, I'm busy with something, he kind of brushes you off. And same thing with Mike's wife, Kelly. I'm so glad Mike is home safe and sound. You ask Kelly if she knows anything. Well, I wasn't home when the Liberators came around. I was visiting my mother. Whoops, look at the time. I better get back to drinking my coffee. So both of them are very odd about the situation. Supposed to make you think that maybe they were threatened or something to not say anything. So finally we'll go to your house here. Alright, so we have a little cutscene. It looks like nobody's home. Okay. We can go up to your room. Your room looks the same as how you left it. But you can kind of explore a little bit. You have a chest here with a soothe bell. And if you go to your computer, what's this? There's a slip of paper under the laptop. Dear Updog, if you're reading this, then that means you've made it home safely. I'm out looking for you and your mother. I won't stop searching until I find both of you. I'm heading to Centrico City first. If you find your way home before I find you, let's try to meet up there. I love you. Be strong. From Dad. Alright, so we now have a little update. We don't know much about Mom, but we know Dad has flown on his Archeops right here to Centrico City. So that is going to be our next destination on this part of the storyline. We want to meet up with Dad and see more about what happened to Mom. So to do that, we're going to have to go back to the Stone Quarry through this part of the Central Plains to Morcall Town, which, if you remember, Morcall Town is where Luna was headed when we first met her, so we'll meet up with her there, and then head north to the Central Plains East and to Centrico City. So that gives us a little bit of direction on the storyline here. Not a whole lot of information, but at least something to further the narrative here. Something suspicious going on. So let's pay Professor Cedar a visit. Alright, so Professor Cedar has a Herdier and an assistant here before we talk to him. She gives out research assignments to trainers. So you can get a research assignment from her and you get a reward from it, kind of like a mini quest. So says the professor is interested in studying the effects of magnetism in Pokemon. Your first assignment is to bring me a Magneton so we may study its properties. So obviously you have to do that. Going to save it here. So Professor Cedar says, hello there, you must be Updog. I'm glad to see you back in Barnsley Town, safe and sound. So you ask the professor if he knows anything more about your parents. He says, well, I can't exactly say I know anything specific. All I know is that I haven't seen your mother or father in quite some time now. But if you are planning on going on an adventure to find them, perhaps I can be of assistance. I haven't given out a starter Pokemon since the League was dismantled. Maybe one of them could add some strength to your team. So now I must ask, which type would you prefer? So you can get one of any of the starters from Professor Cedar. You can get anyone from Gen 1 through Gen 7. And the way I organized it here is by narrowing it down type-wise and then based on region. So I'm trying to think who we want. I know who I want, my favorite starter, but I'm thinking if he's going to be a good choice. And I don't think he would be bad, so I think we're going to go for it. So definitely my favorite starter of all time is Charmander. So Professor Cedar gives us Charmander. I hope you and your new Pokemon become great friends. So he doesn't do much for the storyline, but does give you access to one of the starter Pokemon. So there's our Charmander. Of course, he starts on level 5, which will take some training up to do, that I will probably do off screen. Now that we're past the Stone Quarry, I would be okay with adding a fire type to our team anyways. So let me put him in front, because he's going to need the most training. And then Beldum will need to get... Let me see how close Beldum is to 19. Pretty far. Okay. So he's got like 2 full levels. I'll definitely make sure if I do training off screen, I'll get him to 19, but definitely won't get him to 20 because I'll save the evolution for on screen. And I think that's going to be it for this episode. I think this is going to be a shorter episode. So now we've done Barnsley Town and the remote grasslands. We know our new direction is to head up to Centrico City to meet up with Dad. And actually, I will do one more thing before we exit this video. Is I'll speed through the next part, but I'm going to return to Larkinge City to see if Elliot has any updates for us. Alright, so here we are back in Elliot's lab. Elliot says, "Updog, we've been anxiously awaiting your return. Greta has some interesting information I think you'll want to hear." So she says, "All I know is that the third gym leader was a man that lived in a big mansion in Morcall Town. I think the gym was right there in Morcall Town too. There's just one slight problem with that. My radar scanners are picking up some strange readings from over Morcall Town, almost like it's shielded by some kind of energy. It sounds like that's your next destination. Just make sure you are extra careful out there." So we'll talk to him one more time here. So she kind of says the same thing. Some kind of strange energy, like somebody doesn't want people coming into that place. So let me pull up our map one last time here. So again, our next direction is to go on the other exit of the Stone Quarry through the southern part of the Central Plains to get to Morcall Town, which is where we're going to investigate for the third gym leader. And that works for both of our quests right now because it's on our way to get up to Centrico City. So that is where we are going to wrap this video up. If you're enjoying watching Pokemon Trinity, please leave a like or a comment. If you want a copy for yourself, also comment that. Otherwise, I will see everyone in the next video.